A bipartisan approach in the midst of a state election. Both leaders waiting their turn to receive a COVID jab and encouraging others to roll up their sleeves.
I'm happy to get the injection, but considering my age, I'm in category 1D or something like that. So my time comes in some months from now, but I just encourage everyone to get the injection. It's the right thing to do.
My message is in concert with the Prime Minister that if you want to take the vaccine, I encourage everyone to do so. I think it's important that as many people take up the vaccine as they can. The phase-in rollouts, I think, are an important step to help protect those who are most vulnerable and those who are most at risk.
2 nurses became the first West Australians to receive a Pfizer vaccine, both of them working in hotel quarantine.
So this really marks our transition from being reactive to proactive, from being on defence to going on offence against COVID-19 and this virus.
Unlike the rest of the country, the history-making moment wasn't live-streamed. Media was not allowed inside the Hyatt in Perth, where the first jabs were given out, a decision not supported by Mark McGowan.
We requested that the media have access to health, but the medical advice and, the doctors run these things, determined that it would be managed in the way it was. So we obviously asked for the media to have access, in fact argued quite strenuously in favour of that, but the doctors determine how and when they'll implement these injections, so it was a matter for them.
The decision to have it at the Hyatt was obviously a decision made by the Department of Health. The reason that was done is because it actually provides ready access for all of our workers from our quarantine hotels.
Neither leader is expected to be eligible for the jab before the March 13 election, but COVID will remain a hot topic as West Australians take to the polls. Labor has promised $217 million for the state's tourism industry, with a major focus on indigenous history, culture and tradition. But there's no extra funding on the horizon for those hit hardest during the pandemic.
We'll look for other ways of assisting, but what you're talking about here is particularly those businesses who are vulnerable to not being able to access their normal market, which is international visitors, not being able to access their normal market, which is international visitors, and the federal government have the capacity to step up and assist by extending either JobKeeper or a version of that.
The Liberals spruiked their plan to create 200,000 jobs over the next 5 years, higher than Labor's pledge to get 125,000 people back to work.
The Labor Party has no plan for the future of Western Australia. In contrast, the Liberal Party has released 57 policies or major announcements, which have helped underpin our target and our economic vision to help create 200,000 new jobs.
Jobs and the COVID recovery, key battlegrounds in an election campaign like no other. Emily Evans, Sky News, Perth.